Welcome to another edition of the Noles Podcast. I am your host, Gregory McCoy. This podcast is by a fan for fans. I am not a journalist. I am not a reporter. I am not an insider. I do not work for a website. The majority of my content comes from me, in my opinion. Other information comes from the internet. Today is November 18th, 2021. No segments for this episode, just more Florida State football stuff. Great win last week, man. I think the whole fan base has been on a emotional high. It's what we needed. I can't put into words what the win meant to me, as a fan. I've been to a couple of Miami games. My first one was in 1997. We beat them 47-0. That was just one of the best feelings ever. But it just means a little more when you just go down the field and you score and you get a clutch win like that. And, there was some positives and negatives throughout the game. I don't get I ain't gonna say that. When we beat our rivals, I get a little bit, over head over heels, but, it's just what you do as a fan. So, I think this game this week against Boston College is going to be a focus game. They're a very good team. They got a very good quarterback. Their coach is one of the best defensive minds in college football. So it is by no means is this going to be an easy game. So it's just, can you put the Miami win behind you and focus and just try to win these last two games to get bowl eligible. And then, just for me, it's not really about getting to a bowl game. It's about those practices that you get because of the bowl game and just continue to build towards being, a better program, getting back to what it used to be. And, I said it once, I say it again, I say it as many times as I need to. When Norvell got hired, I wasn't a big fan of it. I created a podcast that was titled "No Norvell, Please." But I think this season he's kind of won me over. It's all about the recruiting class, and I'm not a big recruiting guy. Marvin Jones Jr., everybody say he's going to be great. We don't know that. How many 5-star guys have been the sure thing and fizzled out? Now, I'm not hating on the guy. I hope he becomes all he can be, but, you just got to get guys that can play. Like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. From what I hear and from what I'm seeing on YouTube and internet, it was a great weekend for recruits. It gave Florida State a lot of exposure. And, hopefully it can translate to more top level players coming to Florida State. That's really it. That's my recruiting synopsis. I don't follow 17, 18-year-old kids, and, if they're going to come, they're going to come. If they're not, they're not. It's really that simple for me as a fan. Get them on campus and develop them. And we'll see. Getting back to the Miami game, Jordan Travis, to me, that was a grow-up game for him. He stood in the pocket and he delivered. He climbed the pocket and delivered. And, if you could ever get a Power 5 offensive line around him, I think this dude could really take off and be special. And I'm not going to sit here and backtrack. I done hated on him and said that he was inadequate. I've said all that. But he proved me wrong. And, I give credit where credit is due. And, you got to be able to block the Clemsons and the NC States and just those type of defenses to get this guy time to throw, because he's got an arm. Going into the offseason, I do think you need to bring in another quarterback. I don't think you can stand pat with what you got. But don't bring in a guy that's coming off an injury, a leg injury. Bring in a guy that can run, that can throw, that has a good QB mind, and let him compete. I think Jordan Travis elevated his game because he had to compete against Mackenzie Milton. But I think Jordan Travis has to be the clear number one. I don't think you go into the offseason saying, okay, it's a competition. Let him be number one and let him fight for his spot. Or fight to keep his spot. That's it. You got to do something about that offensive line. They got the tackle from Lamar University. I don't know nothing about the kid, so I'm not going to sit here and regurgitate what I've heard on other podcasts and on YouTube. For me, I got to just see him. And then I'll make my own evaluation next season. But, just to get a guy to add more depth to the team is excellent. And, some of the guys that's left on this team, you hear other people talking about running them off and doing. Florida State ain't in that position. Okay, you got to keep as many guys as you can just to run a practice. And especially offensive linemen. You can't run them off. I wouldn't mind seeing Steven Dix move to defensive end. Strong enough, definitely. Fast enough, definitely. I think, Jaleel McRae, another guy, 6'2". You could get him up to 245, 250. You could move him to defensive end. Okay? Those were 2 4-stars. Okay? If they're not going to work out as linebackers, man, move them to defensive end. At the very least, you got speedy guys that can come off the edge and make plays. You could just stand them up. I mean, that's just my thought. I always try to find value in every player. Travis J. You could move him to linebacker. You could get him up to 225 and move him to linebacker. I think he would be dynamic. I don't think he's a DB. I don't think you need to put him on punt returns. I think he could definitely play weak side linebacker and be a force. Because the cover skills are there. He just don't make plays. He just don't make plays on the ball. And that's pretty much what it is about him. But I just think we need to keep as many guys as we can. That's it. I really don't know a lot about Boston College. I haven't watched any of their games. I know they got the transfer from Notre Dame, the quarterback. He's a very good quarterback. I know they got some playmakers. I know their defense is pretty good. It's not going to be an easy win. It's going to be a noon game. I don't know what the weather's going to be like. It's November in Boston, so it's probably going to be cold. It's just how focused is this team going to be? That's really what it comes down to. So hopefully this team is locked in. They can go up there and get the win, and we can go all in on Florida. Jermaine Johnson, Tremendous game. Tremendous get for this program. I give all the kudos to the coaching staff for getting that guy. He made money last week. He made a lot of money last week. So it's just, can you keep, stacking and keep making money? Because that's basically what you're doing. You're increasing your stock. And, I can't sing the praises enough of that coaching staff for getting that guy. He's really lifted the defense. He's really lifted this team. He's really lifted the program. So, and it's just crazy. He's done all that in less than a year. Is he one of the all-time greatest? I don't know. But he certainly had one of the best all-time games against a rival. So, kudos to him, man. Omarion Cooper, another tremendous find for this coaching staff. He's going to be a player. I think he's going to be a starter. There's no way you can keep him off the field. I mean, Brownlee, you might have to go sit on the bench, bro. Maybe Jones, you definitely on the bench, bro. It's pretty much Cooper, Noles, and Brownlee, but Brownlee got burnt up too. He missed some tackles. But he's very physical. Very physical. That's what I like about him. So, linebacker still work in progress. I would like to see Lundy lose some weight. I've been saying that he too heavy. I think if he get down to 235, he'd be special. Deloach, I would like to see him add on some weight, and Gainer is pretty much where he's going to be. I don't see him, I think he's pretty much maxed out his potential. Defensive line is phenomenal. I don't know what it's going to look like next season, but you got to get in that portal. You got to find some guys and, just hope that we can maintain that level of defensive line play, because it's going to be a tremendous drop off when Thomas and Johnson leave. I mean, you just hope that McClendon and Fuller can step in, or you get a Marvin Jones Jr. come in and man that one spot, and maybe you get a Tyree West, to take Lovett's spot. So, I mean, we'll see. Well, like I said, a famous man once said, a famous football coach and general manager said, a lot of the answers to your problems are right on your roster. You just gotta open your mind and quit being biased and just put the kid on the field and see what he can do. Paraphrasing, of course, that's not the exact quote, but you get what I'm saying. And I'm not gonna say we back, but we getting there. We making a slow climb forward, pun intended. So, obviously we got to get some more offensive linemen. I think I already touched on that. But the play calling to me needs to, like in the first half, it was pretty creative, but it's just every game, it just goes through these little lulls where, there's, just limited creativity throughout the game. And then, it's just something we gotta fix. I like the way Fuller was committed to keeping two high safeties and keeping everything in front of him. I said that, in my podcast before the game. So kudos to him for sticking with that. And we'll see what happened at Boston College. Thank you for listening. I appreciate the support. The podcast is available on YouTube and all podcast platforms. Please do your research on anything that you put in your body. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. Be safe. And as always, go Noles.